it
Welcome back again.
UnMaddening. We've got a lot to unpack, I guess.
Yes.
The word of the day is conflict, and the word of the day was already conflict before some things started happening about the world today.
Today's news.
I guess we
Some
might
very
have to
big,
touch
changes.
on those. Lots of talk in the last week or so about World War III breaking out. It's in all sorts of articles and all over the old interweb. But yes, so I was like, oh, well, let's do conflict as our word.
You wake up this morning and see that we're right on the brink of it.
Yes. There's some stuff going on. Conflict definition. A serious disagreement or argument, typically a protracted one, or, a prolonged armed struggle. Similar words, dispute, quarrel, similar, war. A state of mind in which a person experiences a clash of opposing feelings or needs. And a serious incompatibility between two or more opinions, principles, or interests.
That's an interesting one. It has to be two or more opinions. Can't be just one opinion. It's two or more.
Well, yeah. You wouldn't be having a disagreement if you agreed.
Just one opinion. That's it. War.
It's all a matter of perspective. What does the Urban Dictionary say about conflict, Swiley?
I don't want to know.
So I just skip over it altogether. All right.
Go on.
Conflict means problem or an argument. Okay, so that's normal.
Same.
Great, love it. Conflict of interest, a financial, emotional, reputational, or other personal interest in any matter held by a person having authority over the same matter. Taking advantage of authority over such a self-serving personal interest may be considered criminal. At the very least, it is usually harmful to others. That was quite a dark definition of the conflict of interest. But
extremely long-winded as well.
the next one in conflict was nuclear conflict of interest. A nuclear conflict of interest happens when elected leaders give their support to the nuclear industry because they have received some form of nuclear payback without disclosing it to the public. No.
That sounds like it was written by Greens.
Lies. That sounds a little bit sensationalised, if you ask me.
It could be just slightly sensationalised.
And then we have another conflict on the Urban Dictionary is global conflict change. When conflicts move from diplomatic disputes to violent or military exchanges. Sometimes the change is slow, and sometimes there may be a rapid acceleration where an area flips into a completely different state of conflict. Well, so with all this chat that was going around about World War III is breaking out everywhere, everyone's freaking out, I was like, let's have a little Google-eyes. I searched the phrase international conflict erupting, and then I, read through the lovely AI generator results that you get.
Mm-hmm.
Several regions globally are experiencing escalating conflicts. And then it starts listing these regions and some of the things going on there. Ongoing conflicts include Israeli-Palestinian, Sudanese, Sahel insurgency, among others. These conflicts are not only causing widespread displacement and humanitarian crises, but also raising concerns about the potential for further escalation and regional instability.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? What happened next? Oh dear. Yes, it's a little bit interesting there. Specific conflicts, it breaks down what the AI generator of Google says about the Middle East. Talking about Gaza-Israel conflict being a major flashpoint, ongoing violence and humanitarian concerns. The region also faces a spillover of the Gaza war into Syria and tensions between Israel and Iran, including proxy conflicts.
Yeah, I did hear about that. They've got the conflicts inside their own regions as well.
Africa, so you got the Sudanese civil war continuing with fighting extending to the Red Sea coast and raising regional concerns. Then we can look at Asia, and they're talking about Myanmar. I can't pronounce it. The civil war there, with the government bombing rebel-held areas. There's a conflict between India and Pakistan there.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
Yeah.
That's in Kashmir, isn't it? That's the one.
Conflict in Kashmir between India and Pakistan. Yeah. Other regions, Mexico and Colombia in the Americas, are also experiencing increasing instability with the potential for conflicts to escalate. And then Haiti too. The situation in Haiti remains fragile with gangs controlling large parts of the country. That's a lot of conflict.
It's a lot of conflict.
My goodness.
We see a lot of these conflicts, and they're started by rebel militias.
Yeah. Which, I mean, what are the motivations there? Is it, the government's doing things that the people are unhappy with, or who's in the right, who's in the wrong? Who knows?
Human greed, I think, that does most of it.
Perhaps. Well, according to this, the factors that are contributing to conflict are political instability, so, coups, such as you just mentioned, political transitions, power struggles, economic hardship, poverty, resource scarcity, climate change-related issues are exacerbating existing tensions and contributing to conflict. Proliferation of armed groups is on there.
Yep.
So, like rebel groups and militias, like you said, and weak governance.
Oh, there's no weak governance around here.
Nah.
Speaking of weak governance.
Definitely wasn't on X earlier looking to see if our Prime Minister had, if Albo had written anything to, I don't know, maybe just tell the Australian people where he stands. Nah.
That barbed wire fence must be getting pretty sharp.
No post there at all. Interesting. But there was a post from the coalition, and Pauline Hanson put a post up, which was a letter she had written to Albo, CC'd Penny Wong. This is where she stands and her party stands on it. Like, people can have a backbone. Where do you stand, mate? Where? Just say it.
Or if you can't say it, tell people.
If you can't say it, you shouldn't be the leader.
Shouldn't be the leader.
You shouldn't be the flipping leader, mate. Yeah. If you don't know where you stand for your country, then bugger off and let someone else do the job. Let's have another turncoat situation like we had before, where everyone was flipping positions all the time.
It's not the first one. There was an Abbott one.
I'm sure it won't be the last. But anyway, consequences of these conflicts: humanitarian crisis. Millions of people are displaced, facing food shortages, lacking access to basic necessities due to ongoing conflicts.
There's a big fallout, though. Whenever there's conflict like this, there's always a big fallout, and it extends a lot further than, I suppose, just what people say. Well, that's a war that's happening over there. There's geopolitical fallout. There's financial fallout.
Yeah.
I looked this morning straight away after I read the news and thought, well, wonder what my superannuation is going to.
Wait till tomorrow. You get a bit of info on the super tomorrow. I'm sure the stock market crash and so on.
Well, the stock market did it straight away.
Immediately.
It's already red. America's in the green, but we'll see how that turns out tomorrow.
Yeah, well, they're asleep at the moment, aren't they? So when they wake up, what happens? Regional instability. So conflicts in one region can easily spill over into neighbouring countries, creating broader regional instability. Erosion of international norms is another consequence of these international conflicts. The increasing frequency and intensity of conflicts are raising concerns about the erosion of international humanitarian law and the norms that govern warfare. We've got threat to global security. Yep. Conflicts and the potential for escalation pose a threat to security and stability, of course.
That's one of the issues with America now, following the bombing of Iran, that they're talking about maybe there might be some cells inside America now that might be doing attacks on America, because they've got some known Iran cells in there. Now they've done that. That could be a possible threat. And cybersecurity threats they're looking at now as well.
Yeah, in the digital age, the threats are not just these sorts of things that you see, like bombings and stuff with that type of warfare. It
extends a lot further.
And let's not forget, it's not beneath our governing bodies to also use germ warfare against us. Yes, they love that one. They did really well last time around. Need for action, conflict prevention. There is a need for increased focus on conflict prevention, including addressing the root causes of conflict and promoting good governance. And how does one exactly do that? How do we effectively promote good governance?
Choose a leader that is.
What just happened in the last election in this country?
Well, that
Unbelievable.
that was our country's choice.
Oh, was it? I don't know. Like,
Whether
they
it was a
didn't.
good choice or
They
a
did.
good governance
No,
of choice.
they didn't promote good governance in that
No.
decision. It's just I'm not surprised realistically that he hasn't said anything, but it's like another nail in the coffin of what a spoon you are, mate. Get a backbone, for goodness sake.
When they say promoting good governance, they're more talking about the policies that they put into place. So we need more policies. We need more.
And the policies come
restriction.
from the people that you've elected.
Mm.
And in some cases, unelected officials are making choices as well, which just is ridiculous. Humanitarian assistance. Providing humanitarian aid to those affected by conflict is crucial to alleviate suffering and prevent further displacement. I would agree with that.
Yeah.
There is a lot of that fallout on just the common man. Old bloke and his wife and
kids. One of the
what
precursors
happens to
to
him?
conflict is the fact of little to nothing and humanitarian need.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one of the precursors to the conflict, like you read out before. So,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 100%.
Diplomacy and peace building. Strengthening diplomatic efforts and supporting peace building initiatives is essential to prevent escalation and promote peaceful resolutions. And then we've got reaffirmation to international law and humanitarian principles to protect civilians and ensure accountability for violations of said international laws. That one's a little bit tricky to get behind because I don't exactly have a lot of faith in the UN and the people that are making those choices there. So it's like, again, where is the good and appropriate governance that actually gives a rat's about the general person? It's
like you
it's
read
not
before,
there.
there's another precursor to conflict is people pushing their own opinions for their own gain.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't see how the UN would be a positive thing for that because they've got their own agendas that they push for that.
Of course
it
they
just
do.
creates more conflict. We've seen that many times.
Where does the money come from? It's all about that. And just to take a lovely turn around a really dark corner underneath that initial search, what was it that I said that I had typed in there? I've written it down here. International conflict erupting. So you know how when you go on the Googleizer and you type something in and then you get other like suggested questions that pop up underneath that are related to your search topic. Mm-hmm. So I've done that and like looked at those extra questions.
You're very good, you Googly.
Oh, I am such a good Googleizer. Yeah. How many people will be killed in World War III?
Oh.
Was the next thing that pops up underneath it, right? I said it was dark. There was a warning.
Right down
Disclaimer.
the rabbit hole,
I said it was, oh my goodness. Anyway, according to a peer-reviewed study published in the journal Nature Food in August 2022, whatever that is, a full-scale nuclear war between the United States and Russia was the example used, releasing over 150 TG, which I'm not even sure how much that is. Like I can't fathom.
Lots.
Well, yeah. Of stratospheric soot could indirectly kill more than 5 billion people by starvation during a nuclear winter. I was like, oh, that's lovely. Very nice. Do you want to know what the next one was?
Oh, please tell me.
Where is the safest place in Australia during nuclear war? And the answer, in the event of a nuclear war, Australia is generally considered one of the safest places due to its geographical isolation and robust agricultural production.
You said where? Did you ask AI that, did you?
No.
Oh,
It's just, it's the
Where's the
googly.
safest place in Australia? Australia.
Yeah. Well, that was, it was trying to, calm down the person asking the question. It's like, it's okay. Australia is safe. You're fine.
Yeah, you'll be right.
I
if
love
not,
this
go
bit.
to New Zealand.
Yeah. This bit about the robust agricultural production where in recent months, years, decades, we've had so much excellent support for our farmers in agricultural processes. Yes, I'm sure we have excellent production that would be long-lasting. A study in The Guardian, totally reputable, ranked Australia and New Zealand as the best placed nations to survive a nuclear conflict due to factors like their remote location and strong agricultural sectors.
Well, we should be supporting that then, shouldn't we?
Should we? Should we? And how do we do that? Where's our good governance to...
Well, I was about to say with good governance.
That's enough of that.
Yeah. Go
Vintage culture appreciation. Would you like to...
Culture.
Would you
I've got the kid.
So we stop catastrophizing now.
Yep.
No more war and tragedy.
No.
Hit me.
What is it?
Trampoline! Trampoline!
He said what now?
In case you didn't get it, Tramapoline. is what we're...
Trampoline.
Trampolines.
Ah,
Yes, hours of fun and danger.
no danger.
Lots
Just real
of
life
danger.
experiences.
So much danger in a trampoline, but that's what makes it fun, right? It's like every time you bounce in it, am I going to die this time?
I love how
What level of injury am I going to get? How high can it go? At some points when we had a tramp when I was a kid, it would be underneath the patio, and the patio that our dad had built was like really, really high. So you could bounce on the trampoline underneath it, but it wasn't high enough that you can bounce to your full capacity. So that was another added like threat of, or maybe if your sibling double bounces, you have so
Well,
maybe
that's
you're
one
gonna
of them,
smack your head
I
on the
think
roof.
trampoline's a rite of passage. You've got to break an arm on a trampoline.
I don't think you gotta break an arm on a trampoline.
I think it's just,
I never broke an arm on the trampoline.
well, you got to do some injury somewhere.
Yes, I definitely did kind of get flung-ish off. And like, when I was a kid, you didn't have those mats around the side that cover over the springs. It's springs in a mat and metal bars.
Yeah.
So you land off and you land on that bar.
And the
That's
spring,
not
and the springs
nice.
pinch you.
The spring pinch. Oh, there's some good bruises on your old tush if you land on those springs.
And then they
There's
had to
some
put the padding
ones.
around the whole trampoline.
Yes. They started with the padding over the springs, and now they actually have like this full net encasing situation
like your
on
cage.
trampolines.
So you go into your cage if you're going to bounce on the trampoline.
Yeah. It's like a
You're like a
child
bird,
enclosure.
A bird just jumping up and
You
down.
just pop them in there, and there
Yeah.
they are.
Yeah.
Yes, just
Well, here's your
safely
new playpen.
bouncing. Yeah, you upgrade from like the toddler playpen into a trampoline playpen. Yeah.
I remember doing like trying to get a long jump. You bounce on the trampoline and
Mm-hmm.
you try and dive off the trampoline and see who could make it the furthest distance.
Oh, nice. That one sounds good.
That was good fun.
We sometimes would put it on the grass in the back on its side.
Mm-hmm.
So like a rectangular shaped one.
Mhm.
You put one of the longer sides of the rectangle on the grass, like the face of it, so you could run at it
And bounce
and
off
jump into it to then spring backwards off. And if you were super awesome, one of my siblings was really good at this. If you jumped at it correctly in the right spot, you could actually make it stand up again and stay on it. And that was like solid 100
Skill.
points, mate. Mad skills. Very, very cool. We also used to put like water on it
Yes.
just to make it even
dishwashing
safer
liquid?
with dishwashing liquid,
Yeah.
so it's wet and slippery.
Yep.
What?
And the double bounce was always,
Oh, you got
it's got a must.
Yeah, very, very good. And then sometimes we would actually have sleepovers on it as well, like playing
Camp
outside
out
all
on
day.
the trampoline.
And then you just grab your sleeping bag and you go and sleep on the trampoline.
The
We did that a
trampoline
lot.
would make a good base for a blanket fort, though, wouldn't it?
It would.
Mm.
Yeah. The traditional one, yes,
Mhm.
because you have all those little gaps that you could be poking the edges of the blankets into to hold them in place. You wouldn't even
Well, not
need...
their new ones.
no, not the new one, but an old one would. Yeah. But you weren't wrong with the arm breaking if you consider our little sweet friend of late who did
Yes.
actually have a horrific break of the arm on there. Both the radius and the ulnar broken from
Well, like
falling
you
off
said,
the
it's a rite of
trampoline.
passage, and you've got to get back on the horse.
Yeah, well, when I went to visit her, she's like got the cast on and still has a couple of weeks before the cast is coming off, but she's still on the trampoline. She's
Still going
bouncing on
for
the
it, yeah.
trampoline with the cast on her arm, having a dandy old time. Very good.
You got to have fun.
Yes, you do.
And if you're always worried about the consequences of doing something, you'll never do anything.
Yeah.
Well, not consequences of all things,
No,
obviously.
but small,
having
reasonable
fun.
risks where you're having
Yeah.
good, clean fun, not hurting anyone except
That's
for
right.
yourself because you've been a bit of a spanner. But
That's
like,
right.
it's fun. Trampolines, lots of fun.
That's
Love
how
them.
you learn not to do things. Oh,
Yeah.
that hurt. Don't do that again.
I'm not sure that was the lesson I learned with the springs.
No.
I got caught on them lots and lots of times, but still kept getting back on that trampoline. Good fun.
That's right.
Love it. Radio. So that was fun.
It was.
And we ended on a high note.
Yes.
I
a happy note.
turned
We
away
won't
from
go
the
back.
darkness.
We won't go back.
Not right now.
Not right now.
Unfortunately, probably again real soon. And until then, God bless and
Stay
peace out.
safe. This content is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as professional advice. We are not soldiers, snipers, pastors, or politicians. You are not more likely to suck less or try harder having listened to these shenanigans.